Fewer teams have been as consistent as France in the last decade. Les Bleus may not have won every tournament within this period, but they have consistently put up a good fight that makes them favourites each and every time. Whether it's the Euros, World Cup, qualifiers or just friendlies. Although we could make the argument that France has one of the most stacked squads in every position, there's no shortage of good quality teams on a par with them. Instead, France has found a system that helps them thrive regardless, and this system is largely down to three men. In this video, we'll be exploring the three key figures that have consistently put France on the map as the team to beat. If France were a money heist team, Didier Deschamps would be the professor. A class player and an even classier manager, the Frenchman remains the second coach to have guided the nation to a World Cup title in 2 decades. During his playing days, Deschamps was one of the most brilliant French players in the world. He plied his trade at Marseille, where he'd win the Champions League as the youngest captain of the first and only Ligue 1 side to win the competition. He'd win it again in Italy with Juventus, as well as 3 Scudettos amongst other trophies. For his country, Deschamps captained the team to their first ever World Cup in 1998 and the Euros trophy 2 years later in 2000. When he hung up his boots, Deschamps' brilliance in the beautiful game translated into his managerial career. He was mostly renowned for his mentality as a player. He simply would not lose. So you can imagine how devastated he must have felt about losing the Euros 2016 final to Portugal. But rather than be broken by this, Deschamps doubled down, growing his band of strong, high-quality players into a cohesive team. Besides considering player consistency and the ability to play on the big stage, Deschamps also had to deal with monster egos. A good example of this is Karim Benzema's fallout with the national team. There's also the problem of being spoiled for choice in almost every position. For example, who do you pick to lead the line? Mbappé, Benzema, Giroud, Martial or Lacazette? You also can't forget players like Dembele and Griezmann, who can play centrally or out wide. Deschamps had it tough if he ever wanted to achieve any measure of success with a team of superstars used to preferential treatment at club level. But he rose to the challenge splendidly. His first and most useful strategy was to allow the players to just be. While fans and media outlets eagerly criticise every team at the Euros and World Cup for not acting like monks, Deschamps gave his players free rein to do as they please and to blow off steam. As we've seen from dressing room videos and social media posts, the French players know how to have a good time without going overboard. They play pranks on each other, burst out the weirdest dance moves, watch TV shows together, or play games for hours. They don't care that broadcasters come into the dressing room or that one of their colleagues is going live. None of them try to hide what they're doing. This level of freedom also translates to how Deschamps' side plays on the pitch. Compared to other teams with unique playing styles and strategies, the French team is hardly spectacular. That doesn't mean they flatter to deceive. On the contrary, the plan is simple. Just play. Don't make mistakes. Find mistakes. So, the team spends the bulk of the time playing uninspiring football, but the moment they identify a weakness in the opposition, no matter how minute, it's game over. This is the team's identity under Deschamps. France looked to control games by giving no room for error whilst trying to exploit the opposition. That's also why they rarely win by astonishing numbers. They accept pressure and don't try to dominate possession. They just find a mistake and go in for the kill. A win is important, but how they do it isn't. Counterintuitive as it sounds, this strategy has made France an effective and resilient side for the better part of 4 years. Pair that with a squad filled with players with the right mental fortitude, killer instincts and ruthlessness, and you've got a strong team that can cause havoc if given the chance. If you're wondering how this seamlessly careless strategy has worked out for Didier Deschamps, you only need to look at the numbers. In a decade of coaching the national team, he reached the World Cup quarter-finals in 2014 and the Euros finals in 2016, won the World Cup in 2018, reached the Euro round of 16 in 2021, and missed out by the narrowest of margins on winning his second World Cup in 2022. To quote the man himself, it's all about winning. It doesn't matter if France play like a non-league side. They'll suffer for it, yes, but they know how to ride the rough and come out on top. Kylian Mbappé first broke into the French national team at the age of 18. It was March 2018 and the PSG forward was named as a part of the squad for the World Cup in Russia. In his first outing for his country, Mbappé helped France win the competition, including contributing a goal in the tightly contested final against Croatia. And so, at the Luzhniki Stadium on a July night, a teenager hoisted the World Cup trophy over his head. Not just a bench warmer, but with a 4-goal contribution and dazzling performances. It was France's second World Cup after their first victory in 1998, when Mbappé guided Les Bleus to the trophy. Didier Deschamps was a player then and the captain of the French team, and Mbappé had not yet been born. The PSG star's rise to the peak of football is both mesmerising and mind-blowing. He represents the present and future of Les Bleus and has enough evidence to show it. His performance alone helped keep France in the 2022 World Cup final until they were finally knocked out on penalties at the death. If it had gone their way, he would have won it for his country for the second time, with enough room to try again for a third. That's 2 World Cup finals before turning 25. Just mind-blowing. Mbappé is the brawn piece in Didier Deschamps' puzzle. He's the perfect example of the manager's vision and philosophy. It's why he sometimes appears anonymous on the pitch for up to 90 minutes. His shambolic defensive output also means he's useless in containing opponents. However, the moment he gets the ball and momentum swings in France's favour, he becomes a dangerous man. An X-factor, yes, but with the same mindset as the rest of the squad. Suffice to say that Mbappé has been one of the best things to happen to the French national team. Every single player in the France lineup has a world-class substitute. Every player but Olivier Giroud. Giroud is easily one of the most undervalued and underappreciated forwards in our time. His stats are barely spectacular and his physical prowess hardly stands out, but what he brings to the team is immeasurable. He's what is called a silent performer. Given how consistently he's been part of Deschamps' squads is proof of how integral the Milan forward is to the game. What makes Giroud an even more exceptional player is that he's hardly a typical forward. He's a selfless forward who uses his domineering presence to create chances for others. Giroud is a plan B that most national teams don't have, and a very valuable one at that. Because whenever he plays, Deschamps is willing to change from a 4-3-3 to a 4-2-3-1 formation. With Giroud in the team, France no longer has a predictable striker or centre-forward. He offers lots of ways to play the ball and handle the opposition, freeing up midfield playmakers to be more versatile. When it comes to goal scoring and creativity, Giroud is an unpredictable yet lethal beast up front. A simple clearance from defenders or goalkeepers can become a pivotal pass to the Milan man. His supreme aerial ability and ball control make him adept at creating chances or scoring in tightly contested spaces. Antonio Conte realised this quality in the Frenchman when he signed him from Arsenal. His presence in the Chelsea lineup allowed Hazard to flourish on the wing by drawing defensive pressure off the Belgian. Despite being a lower-rated forward in Conte's team, Giroud would go on to have more impact and playing time than Alvaro Morata, who set the Blues back a staggering €75 million. French players continue to thrive alongside Giroud as he replicates his magic from his Chelsea days, attracting centre-backs and freeing up space for Griezmann and Mbappé to attack and hurt the opposition. He's also great in defensive scenarios compared to Mbappé, and offers versatility during set pieces, both as a threat and a defensive block. But the best part of it, he's a well-behaved guy who's fine with his role and doesn't sulk when he's not picked to play. To quote a webhead, Giroud is the Kanté of centre-forwards in the French team. The result of Giroud's dedication and all-round play is a consistent spot in Deschamps' team, and also holding the record of being the oldest and highest goal scorer in the French squad.